सुने विज्ञान की अनकही कहानियाँ। आइए हम सुने विज्ञान की अनसुनी कहानियाँ। एक नई दुनिया की आवाज आपकी आवाज, विज्ञान की आवाज, की आवाज।
Celebrating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, we bring you a podcast series on STEM popularization, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and medicine, supported and catalyzed by the National Council for Science and Technology Communication, Government of India. This program is produced by Media for Community Foundation. Creative content and technical support is given by Radioactive Community Radio, Bengaluru.
एक नई दुनिया की आवाज आपकी आवाज, विज्ञान की आवाज, की आवाज, की आवाज।
Latest information on STEM popularization.
New technology for converting CO2 to CO holds potential for carbon capture and energy saving in the steel sector. A new energy efficient carbon dioxide capture technology that converts carbon dioxide to carbon monoxide under electrocatalytic conditions under ambient temperature in the presence of water has been developed with potential for application in the steel sector. In efforts to support India's goal for net zero emissions by 2020, the DST supported National Center of Excellence in Carbon Capture and Utilization NCOE at IIT Bombay is actively working towards developing novel, scalable and affordable pathways on capturing CO2 from various emission sources and converting it into usable chemicals for permanent storage, representing a crucial pathway for greenhouse gas mitigation. In a significant development, a team of investigators led by Dr. Arnab Datta and Dr. Vikram Vishal, along with dedicated research scholars at the National Center, has been granted a patent for CO2 to carbon monoxide conversion technology. The innovation is accepted accepted for publication in the international journals Nature Communications. Carbon monoxide is a widely used chemical in the industry, especially in the form of syngas. In the steel industry, CO is an essential ingredient for converting iron ores to metallic iron in blast furnace. Currently, CO is generated by partial oxidization of coke/coal, which leads to a significant production of CO2 as an end product of this process. If this emitted CO2 can capture and convert it into CO, it can lead to a circular economy. In this process, while reducing the carbon footprint and associated costs, the process for CO2 to CO conversion that is widely in use currently occurs at elevated temperatures, 400 to 750 degrees centigrade. And the presence of the equivalent amount of H2 is necessary for driving this reaction toward H2 is necessary for driving this reaction forward, making it an energy intensive process. The newly developed process by IIT Bombay NCOE-CU requires only minimal energy as it can proceed under ambient temperatures 25 to 40 degrees centigrade in the presence of water. The energy required for this electrocatalysis reaction can be harnessed directly from a renewable energy source in the form of a solar panel or windmill, which ensures a carbon neutral operating scenario for a fissile CO2 to CO conversion. Scenario for a fissile CO2 to CO conversion. This technology holds promise for various industrial applications and is being actively pursued for scaling up through the recently incubated startup Arjunavak Private Limited for potential application in the steel sector. In addition, another aqueous-based CO2 capture and conversion to calcium carbonate technology emerging from the activities of the DST supported NCOE CCU is also licensed to Arjunavak Private Limited, incubated through SIGN at IIT Bombay.
Now, our next segment is Analyst in STEM.
Today we are with Dr. Srinivas Bharath, Professor and Head, Department of Clinical Psychopharmacology and Neurotoxicology, NIMHANS, Bengaluru.
The nervous system disorders could be neurological or psychiatric. The neurological disorders could be of many kinds. They might be related to, for example, movement disorders. There are a set of disorders called as movement disorders. They may be degenerative disorders, or they may be infectious disorders. So, infectious diseases rather. So, if you want to just shortlist some of the important diseases that are being researched in the NRC, there are specific labs related to infectious diseases. We have the neuroinfection laboratory, or neurovirology department runs a couple of laboratories where they exclusively focus on infectious diseases, which includes Japanese encephalitis virus, work on rabies, bacterial and fungal diseases, etc. There is a dedicated laboratory for autoimmune disorders. Okay. Apart from that, groups actually work on neurodevelopmental disorders and degenerative conditions, like I told you, like Parkinson's, Alzheimer's disease, or ALS, that is amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, neurometabolic disorders, for example. So imagine there is a problem in one of the biochemical pathways. This could reflect changes in the mechanism, physiology in the body, and could present as neurometabolic problems or disorders. So there is a group which works on neurometabolic disorders, and there is a laboratory dedicated to brain tumors. So overall, I mean, this forms a list of all the diseases that people are working on.
Now, speaking about the diseases, are there any work being done regarding diagnostic of CNS disease?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing that should be highlighted here. So, when the Neurobiology Research Center was being envisaged, what the administration thought is this should be a facility which not only does basic or clinical research, it should also contribute to diagnostics, it should contribute to biomarker discovery, it should contribute to therapeutics. And I'm happy to say that our Neurobiology Research Center has set up state-of-the-art laboratories, diagnostic facilities, which are one of its kind in the country. So we have specialized laboratories, like I told you, for autoimmune disorders. And there is a specialized laboratory which focuses only on neuromuscular disorders. So there are diagnostic tests conducted on neuromuscular disorders. So there are diagnostic labs for neuroinfections and neurometabolic disorders. There is an oncology laboratory which focuses on diagnostics of brain tumors. So apart from that, one of the growing fields in the institute and in India and worldwide is the utility of genomic methods. I told you about the importance of genomics. Now, genomic analysis, genetic analysis, molecular genetic analysis has become very important in diagnosing, monitoring CNS or nervous system diseases. So we have dedicated facilities like the Human Genome Laboratory and the Molecular Genetics Laboratory, which cater to a large community in terms of diagnostics. And the interesting thing is the samples that we get for this diagnostics is not only from NIMHANS hospital, but it comes from various parts of Karnataka. And for some of the labs, it comes from different parts of the country, because this is one of the referral labs for many of these diagnostic tests.
Now, narrowing it to CNS diseases, we all know that therapeutics is one of the need for the heart.
Correct.
Is there any efforts being done towards that?
Yes. This is actually the toughest part of working in neuroscience, because therapeutics has been a challenge for many of the diseases, be it degenerative, be it neurodevelopmental. So there's a lot of effort worldwide, and a lot of funds that are being pumped into drug companies and into universities that are doing this kind of research. In our institute in the NRC, so there are efforts to look at biomarkers and look at drug discovery. Although biomarkers is slightly sort of digressing from this particular point, but I would like to say, imagine you want to monitor the progress of a disease. Every time you cannot image the brain, you cannot take a piece of tissue from the brain or the spinal cord. So how do you monitor the progression of a disease? How do you know that the medicine you gave is actually helping the patient, there is recovery? Instead of looking at the brain, people have now started looking at blood of these patients, which is easier to draw, or the urine sample of the patient, or the saliva, so that whatever is happening in the brain, sometimes it gets reflected in these peripheral systems. So this could be used as a biological material to look for specific pointers or markers of the disease. So these are called as biomarkers. So this will not only help in diagnosis of the disease, monitoring of the disease, but also help us to understand whether the therapy is working. Having said that, see, drug discovery is a multi-stage process. Imagine you have to design a drug for Parkinson's disease. So you have to start at the level of a single chemical which you consider as a drug, which should enter the human body, cross the blood-brain barrier, go to the region where it is supposed to act, and provide therapeutic effect. So from the selection of the drug, from the screening of the drug, to testing this drug in the test tube, testing in cell model, testing in the lab, and testing in the animals. All these things, the facility has been set up in the institute. So we have a well-established structural biology lab where you can do a in silico, that means computer-based simulation of drug development, testing its structure, interaction with proteins using crystallographic methods, and then looking at whether you can it is beneficial at the cell level, tissue level, and also in the animal model. So all facilities are there to look to provide to start and execute projects related to therapeutics. In this, I would like to say one interesting lab that you might also find it equally interesting. So have you heard of music therapy?
Yeah.
Yes. So these days, apart from the routine conventional drug-based therapy, people want to have an add-on therapy like a music therapy.
It's like the vibration and then vibration of the music which heals the person.
To put it more scientifically, so we have what is called as a music cognition lab.
Okay.
So imagine you can actually look at the effect of music on your brain by doing imaging and clinical psychology based methods to understand how, suppose you play a raga in Hindustani or Carnatic, how it influences your brain function. This is being studied as one of the add-on therapeutics in our neurobiology research center, and this has direct clinical relevance because some of these things can be used in people who are suffering from mental illness. So this can be an add-on therapy apart from whatever drugs that they are taking. So this sort of summarizes some of the therapeutic related efforts and projects that are going on in Neurobiology Research Center.
I can visually imagine the amount of work and effort that has gone into this study.
Yes.
Can you summarize the achievements of NRC?
Yes. This has sort of become quite popular. This Neurobiology Research Center is now considered as a one-stop shop for neuroscience and mental health with state-of-the-art research facilities. It has developed excellent expertise in different facets of neuroscience, and it has attracted huge grants, crores worth project money. And the interesting thing is, it now encompasses everything in neuroscience, looking into basic neuroscience, looking into disease mechanisms, how a disease develops, to diagnostics, to treatment, to therapeutics. It is all encompassed in a single entity, single building, single facility.
Now coming to the final part of our session, I would like to ask one single question. What does the future hold for neuroscience research in NIMHANS, and what does it hold in specific to NRC?
Yes. So NIMHANS, you might be aware, is now a household name. It has a history of more than 150 years. So it has made its name in the field of clinical work, patient care, training, and training of specialized personnel and research. So this is, this is common knowledge. Now, the interesting thing what the institute has promoted is there should not be any distinction among the departments. In the sense, there should not be distinction between clinical research, basic research, diagnostics, and biomarkers and therapeutics when it comes to neuroscience. That means everybody is involved in this, and with many exciting projects and centers coming up in the future, and with increased collaborative research in the field of different neuropsychiatric disorders, I'm very sure that the future is bright for the Neurobiology Research Center.
Here we are, signing off. Stay tuned with us to catch up on the latest science updates and learn about STEM experts